Hello, fellow comic book fans, and welcome to episode number 4 of the Brazen Bull Podcast. I'm Charlie Chipman, and with me, as always, are my co-hosts, Dave Robbins.
Hello, friends.
And Ben Peterson.
Hello.
On today's show, we'll be discussing Hit Girl number 1 from Image, Deathbed number 1 from Vertigo, and Damage number 2 from DC's New Age of Heroes. If you like what we're doing here, please click the subscribe button below to show your support and become a member of the Brazen Bull community.
Today is Wednesday, February 21st, and it's New Comic Book Day. And those of you at home who are playing the drinking game, today, every time I say, you get to take a drink.
Yeah, I think there's going to be quite a few mms. So just going on our previous episodes here. So if you are playing along, be sure to let us know in the comments how shit-faced you are by the end of the podcast.
Drink responsibly.
Yeah, that too. All right, guys. So now that the drinking has begun, let's start it off. Hit Girl number 1.
Oh, yes.
Good stuff?
Good stuff.
I liked it a lot. It's going in a different direction than Kick-Ass did last week, which I think is a good choice.
Yes.
I think it's a good choice because Kick-Ass introduced a completely new character, may have upset a few people or confused a few people, but now we're reeling it back into the same world, the same attitude, the same mayhem and bloodshed, and it's like we know where we're at. That it takes the story to another continent, and the stakes are a little bit higher, I think is a good choice as well.
Definitely. I thought from beginning to end, I was very entertained by the book. It felt familiar, but still there was this newness, this originality. I really enjoyed it. I was very happy. This was a book, we got an advanced review opportunity, and we just took full advantage of it. I shared it with you guys immediately, wound up writing something up, and really not only enjoyed reading it, enjoyed writing about it. This is a great book, very well illustrated, very well written. I thought as a first issue, did its job, did everything it was supposed to do, and more. Not only were we brought up to speed, but we were entertained throughout the whole bit. We were given a reason to be excited for issues to come. So again, it did exactly what it was supposed to do. I think it really worked. So that's what I have to say about it.
I agree. I actually especially loved the artwork for it. It really complimented it, and I enjoyed just looking at pictures.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it. It was a good book.
Yeah. There was the Ricardo Lopez Ortiz's. I think I read an interview. He described his style as being sketchy and loose. And while I would agree that there's some room in his illustrations, that we could say that they're a bit loose, I think that they were very refined, and it worked very well. Even though there was this certain openness, this certain air, it was still very clean. Everything worked very well. So yeah, but again, visually impressive. Like I said, I thought it was very well written, felt fresh but familiar. So yeah, can't recommend that enough. And speaking of can't recommend a book enough, Deathbed number 1 from Vertigo.
Oh my God. It just totally blew me away.
Yeah.
I could not believe what was going on there. I mean, we jumped into it, and I had these expectations that it was going to go in a certain place of a psychological or a supernatural direction. I don't want to give too much away because there's so much going on. The character of the writer is pretty flawed and very interesting.
Yes.
We have no idea really what's up with this main character, Antonio Luna. And when we start finding out what's really going on, it's like, oh wow, I can't believe I just read that.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely had a holy shit moment once or twice, 3 times. I was blown away several times. There's big, beautiful illustrations. The story is just fantastic. And we know nothing about it, I feel like. We know absolutely nothing, but it's still wonderful. And it works very well. I think it should be in the preview pages. It might not be, so I'll just vaguely refer to it. But the opening, just after the title page, when we're introduced to the writer, that first big full page spread, just, I sat there staring at it, and I was like, this is wonderful. Like, I can't believe, there's some of these little pictures.
Oh yeah,
and you guys will see once you pick up the book, because you will pick up this book. But
yeah, right after the title page, you have, it looks like Polaroids, like snapshots of somebody's life.
Yeah,
and it's a life in chaos.
Yeah,
for lack of a better term.
Yeah.
And I loved it. It's like there's 2, and they're like repeating pictures as well.
Yeah,
but there's this one scene where the writer is just sitting cross-legged, like all yogied out, like yoga. And next to that, just a little bit to the corner, is another version of the very same picture, it seems, with stuff spilled all over it. Yeah. So it's like, no matter how together she tries to get, it just never really works out at all. And that's superimposed over the picture of a toilet brush and toilet cleaner. Yeah. So she doesn't really have her act together.
No. So we're being very vague here, but I think what we've said really should give you an idea of how this book feels at the very least. It's unlike anything I've read in a long time.
It's chaotic. It's self-aware. Yeah. It plays with tropes and even mentions that it plays with tropes. Just really terrific and completely surprising, which by my book is like, that hardly ever happens.
Yeah.
Oh, now, well, I agree with you guys 100% on everything you said. I actually had a hard time, like, at first, not a hard time getting into it.
Okay.
But for me, the beginning I wasn't like totally into it right away.
Okay.
And then that one particular scene, which I know you both know exactly which one I'm talking about, and everyone else will know, that like totally changed it up for me. Yeah. And I was kind of like, whoa, what's going on? And like totally like got me into it. Yeah. So now, I'm really excited to see it, like to continue it.
So now, Ben, let me ask you, after that scene, okay, the scene of scenes in this book.
Scenes.
Just to give you an idea, it's suggested for mature readers.
Oh, yeah.
They're not kidding.
Yeah, it's very mature and wonderful. And but Ben, after that happened, did you feel compelled to say, go back from the beginning and read this as a whole? Or are you just saying, I'm definitely going to pick up issue number 2?
I didn't feel compelled to read it, go back and read it.
Okay.
Like once it happened, I was just like so into it. I burned through the rest of it and wanted that second one.
Gotcha.
Like, right now. So I didn't feel I needed to. Yeah. I'll definitely read it again before the next one comes out, and then I can read it like right afterwards. But yeah, no, I didn't feel the need, but
which is interesting.
It still was excellent
because I think, Dave, and you might agree with me here, that you and I were hooked from the beginning, and were it not for the scene of scenes, we would have picked up issue number 2.
Oh yeah.
Just because of the richness of story and the depth that was teased, and Val, the writer. I just want to spend more time with her.
Oh yeah, and there's flames and blood and gunfire and crazy stories and flying dinosaurs, maybe.
Yeah, perhaps.
And underwear flying all over the place. I mean. Yeah, there's nothing like I've ever seen before.
No,
that's wonderful.
And there's so much more as well, like that we don't know about it. Like, really did just like hint at all this stuff that like sounds awesome. And didn't give you anything yet, like in a way. So
we really know nothing, but the little bit that, like I said, was promised or was teased, I think was more than enough. Definitely going to pick up issue number 2.
Well, here's another thing that I thought was interesting. There's this detached narrator who's neither the main character or the writer.
Yes.
So we've got 3 unreliable narrators essentially in the story. So it's really hard to know what's going on, and that's terrific. That's wonderful.
Yeah, especially since we can say things like that and we're referring to a comic book.
Yeah. I'm all about a comic book that tries to be more than just a comic book, because to me everything starts out, every kind of art starts out decorative and commercially viable, and then it all of a sudden becomes something even better. And these are the kinds of things that are trying to be the best of the best.
Yeah.
And not faking it anyway at any point in the process.
Yeah.
And I love that.
And I think too that Deathbed really speaks volumes, just this issue alone, about Joshua Williamson being able to come from The Flash, doing a great job on The Flash nonetheless, but The Flash feels like a well-written DC comic. And then going to something like Deathbed, which is unlike anything we've read. Like I said, for me, that really just speaks volumes about his talent and the type of writer that he is. And I really hope that we get to see more of this, and not just from Josh Williamson, but from other writers as well. I really hope that a few more of the, heavy hitters from DC maybe think about trying to put out a Vertigo book, or, go to another publisher. I don't care. Just something else. Because
no skin off my nose.
Yeah, it doesn't matter to me. I benefit either way. I get to read it. I'll take it. But again, I love the idea of that as well. The bigger picture there. It was an amazing book through and through.
It's a beautiful book. It's a well-written book. The dialogue is tremendous.
Yes.
Even from the minor characters.
Yes.
It's just a delight. It really is. It's like, yeah. And I read it. I think I read this 3 times at least.
Yeah, I gave it 2 reads. 2 reads so far.
Which is more than I usually, but it was like I was poring over every panel, every frame, every page.
Well, I think that's, at least at the second read, I know I slowed down.
Yeah.
I like being able to pick up a book and tear through it and say, that just happened. Let's go back to the beginning. And I love when I can spend that extra time, like you said, just admiring every panel or, every word bubble and saying, yeah, that feels legitimate. That feels authentic. Especially, again, we're talking about a comic book.
Yeah.
So, yeah, perfect. Excellent work to the creative team behind Deathbed #1 and whoever was responsible for making this happen, giving the go-ahead.
Agreed.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, high fives from the Brazen Bull team all around. And now, unfortunately,
we're talking about sophomore slump this time, I guess.
Yeah, such a high note to a bit of a low note. Damage #2 from DC's New Age of Heroes came out this week, and I, for one, was a bit disappointed.
I think I was even more disappointed than you were. This is the way I described it. This was a roll call of B-list characters without any real story. The good news is the artwork is as good as the first issue. It's really tremendously well done in terms of art. It's just that they forgot to put the story in there this time.
Yep, I definitely agree with you on that one. It is a beautiful thing, but it just didn't move the plot forward at all.
Yeah.
In this episode, really at all. It was just kind of almost like, I don't know. It was just kind of like, it definitely left me wanting more by the end of it. Especially after the first episode or first issue.
Yeah, and I agree. I was left wanting more too, but not necessarily more of what's to come, but just more from this book. It didn't work. And Ben, like you said you said that the plot wasn't really progressing at all. I felt as though there was almost no plot at all. That we were very impressed by issue number 1 because it was unique and came out of the gates, going as fast as possible, firing on all cylinders, swinging for the fences, whatever you want to say. It started out strong, but now issue number 2, that we've seen Damage and we have an idea of what he's about, nothing's happening by way of story.
Yeah, they just basically repeat that he's a super soldier experiment gone bad and on the run, which we already knew about.
Yeah.
And they go back to his first assignment, apparently, which isn't really anything that we need to know at this point.
No.
It doesn't connect to anything that's going on right now either, other than Colonel Jonas, who we met last time anyway. So there's this repetitive thing. And then, like I said before, this roll call of characters that we don't really need. I mean, it's
I really would have liked to have taken a little bit more time, even if we didn't see Damage as much as we did in this book, just to spend a little bit more time with Elvis, the man behind the monster, because I think that there's this potential for him to be a very rich character. You have the whole, super soldier gone wrong can also be, the super secret mission gone wrong, in a real life military situation, something that you can't necessarily talk about, but you have to deal with every day.
Right.
So I think that there's the potential for this to be very interesting, but issue 2 just missed the mark.
Yeah, there's no consequence for any of his actions.
Yeah,
which would be a more interesting story than just action, 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 action.
Yes. Which now, like I said, that's what it feels like. It's just explosions and great artwork. It's like a Michael Bay film. It's just make things explode and that'll help. But it didn't really help. I'm hoping that issue 3 kind of makes up for issue 2, but I'm concerned if that's going to happen or not. So, what do you guys think? Think it's going to pick up, or?
I think the basics are still there. I think it can be a good story. It's just that, like I said before, it's a sophomore slump.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree with you. Like it can be good. They can. I don't want to say like it's so bad they have to salvage it, but like they can fix it up.
Salvage
and keep
it.
Going.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
There's definitely a bit of a speed bump. I think we had a lot of momentum coming out of issue 1. I think a lot of that momentum was lost here, and we're just gonna have to wait and see how it goes.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't given up on it. I just think that swing and a miss, but there's potential. I think it's an interesting character. Just like to see it go in, a more cohesive direction than just having stuff thrown at it without any real rhyme or reason so far.
Yeah.
Right. I actually want to go in a direction. I just feel like it didn't go anywhere.
Yeah.
So it just needs that direction. And then it would be, like you said, it's an interesting character. I think it could be good. So.
Agreed. Now, with that being said, would you two still recommend for our listeners to pick this book up?
Yeah, I think it's worth at least one more issue, maybe two.
Okay.
I'd agree with that. It kind of depends on the next issue for me.
Yeah.
I'll give it another shot.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat with you two guys. I think issue number 1 was pretty damn good. Issue number 2, I think, is a misstep, but there's a chance for issue number 3, and I really don't want to give up the new series. I think there is potential. So yeah, I would recommend it as well. So, but I think that's really everything we wanted to talk about this week.
So next week we got a lot of things to look forward to.
Yes, lots and lots of things.
What are you thinking about, Ben?
I'm really looking forward to God Complex number 5.
Okay, cool.
I'm very excited. That one, I just love that one. Like from the first issue, loving it. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to see where it goes from here. Because the last one was quite a big one, end to the last one. So I really want to see it.
I'm looking forward to Motherlands number 2, which is kind of interesting. My usual things like Rat Queens number 8, Saga 49.
Great.
I mean, Saga is one of those things that, at this point it's been around. Saying you like Saga is like saying you like Star Wars. Yeah. I mean, it's practically an institution now, but it's the comic book for people that don't really like comic books.
Definitely.
It's completely worth checking out. Love story, romance, space flight, fantasy, magic, science, robots with TVs for heads.
Yeah. Doesn't get much better than that. Yeah. I mean, there's no flying monkeys, but
no, but there is a giant cat that can tell whether or not you're lying.
Perfect.
Which I just totally think is awesome.
Yeah. 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 Saga's good stuff. You actually introduced me to Saga a few years ago. I forget exactly how long ago it is now, but it's definitely a few years. I think I don't remember if it was the first trade collection had come out or
I don't even know how long I've been reading it.
Yeah.
But I started reading it with the trade paperbacks.
Yeah.
Finally gotten around to reviewing a trade paperback. A couple weeks ago, a month ago?
Yeah. I would say about 3 weeks ago.
Yeah. Good stuff. I mean, it's definitely, if somebody came to me and said, look, I don't really know comic books, what do you recommend? It would be saying, start here.
Yeah.
This will give you a picture of what art looks like these days, how storytelling has changed, and it's one of the best.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. Always winning awards. It's fantastic series through and through. But for my, what I'm most looking forward to, which really shouldn't come as a surprise, the Terrifics number 1 come out next week from DC's New Age of Heroes. Jeff Lemire's writing it. I'm just really, really excited for this. I have a feeling it's going to be fantastic. If it's not, I'm going to be really let down. Like soul crushed. But I don't think that's going to happen. I think that it's really going to work. And I'm very much looking forward to it. So that's what stands out the most for me for next week.
Cool.
Yeah. But all right, with that out of the way, let's just how about we give our picks of the week and then we'll call it a night.
Typically, I don't take a pick of the week from the ones that we talk about, although, Deathbed I couldn't say enough about.
Oh yeah.
But putting that aside, I'd say go for Pumpkinhead number 1. I mean, it's a legit horror story.
Okay.
Pumpkinhead number 1 from Dynamite. It's a legit horror story. Updated. It's a vengeance demon. It's a good story. Small town. Concerns about the bad guys' influence in the small towns and what the mountain folk do to straighten out things and look for justice.
Yeah.
It's a good deal. It's pretty interesting and looks like it's going to be a lot of fun.
Good. And
definitely spooky, supernatural, done really well.
Good. Ben, what's your pick, sir?
My pick would be I actually just read Batman Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2.
Yes.
That was, being a big Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles fan, was actually very entertaining. Seeing like the new way of doing the kind of the old characters, and it was really good. So definitely would recommend that. It's beautifully done, and it's it's an entertaining story as far as I'm concerned.
Great. And that's what we're always looking for, especially with the title, crossover title. I think is that entertainment factor, and Batman and the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, like, come on, doesn't get much better of a crossover than that, right?
I don't think so. Yeah, this was a good one.
Yeah. All right. Well, for my pick, I'm going to follow a little bit in Dave's footsteps and pick something that we didn't talk about, but something I thoroughly enjoyed. It's Maestro's number 5 from Image. This is a series that somehow, for the last 4 issues, I haven't really mentioned it. I don't even know if I've recommended it to you guys. Maybe issue 1 I might have brought up. But this has been one of the most consistently entertaining series that I've ever read. And it's just gotten better and better, and it's very funny, very lighthearted, and somehow there's all of these world-ending, reality-shattering events happening, and the stakes are uber high, but it's still funny. It's still lighthearted, very well written, very well illustrated, everything that you look for in a comic book. So that's going to be my my pick of the week. Like I said, I think you're onto something here, Dave, not bringing up something that we don't talk a whole lot about. So maybe next week we'll talk a little bit more about Maestro's, because I really do enjoy it. And I really do think that our listeners and other comic book fans would really get a kick out of it as well. But with that out of the way, that concludes this week's show. So if you like what we're doing, please be sure to hit the like and subscribe buttons.
And visit thebrazenbull.com.
And share our content with your family and friends.
All right, fellow comic book fans, until next week.